Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to break down the roles of all Elsword characters in part 1. It's crucial to understand whether your character fits into the selfish DPS, DPS, sub-DPS, buffer, healer, debuffer, or hybrid. This will help you grasp the importance of well-balanced lineup, ensuring you won't struggle with clearing dungeons, especially raid dungeons. Before we dive in, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button to stay updated with all our Elsword content. Let's get started. Starting with Knight Emperor, who puts an incredible range of skills with several debuffs, making him a prime candidate for the DPS category. Next we have Rune Master. It's a magical class which possesses various buffs and debuffs along with a significant attack range, making him suitable for both DPS and sub-DPS roles if he deals damage alongside another DPS. Immortal is a unique class with extremely powerful skills for dealing damage, particularly with his swordfall, positioning him as a DPS. Genesis is greatly enjoyed by Elsword fans for his angelic appearance and good skill range, have some buffs and debuffs, and deals damage better against large bosses. Genesis is classified strictly as DPS. Aisha. First we have Elesis, which offers a significant buff of 25% attack power affecting other DPS players in gameplay, yet she is classified not as a support but DPS instead. Sorcerer, another magical class like Elesis, possesses various debuffs and support skills but is also considered as DPS rather than a support. Next we have Metamorphy, an extremely flexible job in a physical party due to its appealing buffs and debuffs, and she is capable of being DPS, sub-DPS or support. Lord Azoth features several buffs and surprisingly with her pouring pit skill can deliver tremendous damage. Like Metamorphy, this class can be categorized as DPS, sub-DPS, support, and even versatile in both magical and physical parties. Next character is Rena. First is Animus, a favorite class for grinding and leveling due to its impressive skill range for clearing areas. Even though it has several buffs and debuffs, Animus is primarily a DPS. Daybreaker, another favorite class, allows for a semi-autonomous play, especially during the casting of Aisha in the hole. Despite its moderate debuffs, it is also a DPS class. Twilight, she has great debuffs, especially when dealing damage alongside other DPS characters, and has long and wide range skills. However, she is more suited as a DPS. Last one for Rena is Prophetess, a preferred job for support in magic parties because of its many buffs, and it can also deal damage, making it fit for categories such as DPS, sub-DPS or support. Then we have Raven. First is Furious Blade. This class is a great damage dealer, especially with his hypersonic stab. On the other hand, he lacks of buffs or debuffs, categorizing him as DPS. Rage Heart offers incredible skill range and damage. Similar to Furious Blade, it lacks of specific buffs and debuffs, and he is classified as DPS too. Nova Imperator. This class still gives some buffs and debuffs, though he is a great damage dealer too, so he is classified as DPS. Lastly, Revenant was an overpowered class in its prime due to its extraordinary debuffs, but got nerfed in the latest balance patches, but he's still very effective as a debuffer and can be able to go as sub-DPS. Next female character is Eve. Start with Code Ultimate, which possesses several buffs and debuffs. She is good in raid dungeon because of her short range skill, hence she is a DPS class. Code Essentia. This class has several buffs and debuffs, often chosen as a support, though it can also go as a DPS or sub-DPS. Code Serial. Similar to Code Ultimate, features several buffs and debuffs. Additionally, the skill clearing of this class is impressive, along with a fairly quick skill cooldown acceleration, making it highly suitable as a DPS. Last but not least, Code Antithesis, where this job has some buffs and debuffs. She was overpowered with a 100% ignore defense on her skill called Chandelier upon its initial release, but has been nerfed, yet still a powerful DPS. One of Chung's class is Comet Crusader. He is extremely useful, especially in a physical party with many strong buffs and debuffs. He can strengthen and help keep party member alive with its Wonder Wall. Thus, it can be considered as DPS, sub-DPS or a debuffer. Fatal Phantom has an amazing skill range, especially for clearing dungeon with the monster is close to each other. He only has one buff, so he categorized as DPS. Centurion is also very useful in magical party because he has a good buffs and debuffs, also good on dealing damage, thus it can be categorized as DPS or sub-DPS. The fourth one is Deus Air. is one of the best support for a physical party with healing and freezing skills. However, with a specific argument, he can also assist in dealing damage, making him suitable for roles as sub DPS, buffer, and healer. Another female character is Era, starting with Apsara. This character was one of the best debuffer after Revenant in her prime, but after balance patches, she was also nerfed. Despite this, she is still frequently chosen by other DPS characters as a debuffer. On the other hand, she also has good damage, so she is categorized as sub DPS and debuffer. Devi, a class which has long range skills suitable for clearing, and she also has some good debuffs which are very helpful when dealing damage alongside other DPS characters. She is categorized as DPS and sub DPS. Shakti is another class with many buffs and debuffs just like Devi. This class also has good damage, especially for a physical party. Her skill can cover a wide area, so she is categorized as DPS and sub DPS. Surya is one of the best class favored by Magic DPS because she has many buffs including heal and freeze. To this day, she remains a favorite class for support. Most Surya users choose to be support rather than DPS, so Surya is categorized as a buffer and healer. Next, we have Elesis, First Age Empire Sword, which is a very flexible class that can be used in both magical and physical parties because her debuffs apply to both type of parties. Nevertheless, she is considered both a DPS and sub DPS. Flame Lord. She is a good damage dealer in magical parties. On the other hand, she has some useful debuffs for the other DPS, therefore she can be categorized as DPS and sub DPS. Bloody Queen has few debuffs. Her skill good for dealing damage in normal dungeon and raid dungeon, but player need to be careful on managing her HP war. She is categorized as DPS. Adrestia is a good class for magical party lineup because of her strong and numerous magical debuffs. On the other hand, her dungeon clearing is also good, therefore she can be categorized as a DPS and sub DPS. Move on to add comes first with Doombringer. This job is suitable for both raid and clearing, and it deals high damage, so it is categorized as DPS. Dominator. This class has a long wide range skills, making him good for clearing and bossing. He has several buffs and debuffs and is often used as a DPS, sub DPS or debuffer. Mad Paradox is one of the magical classes that catches attention due to its dimensional skill visualization. One of its advantages is that it has a revive skill called Seal of Time. This job is also categorized as a DPS. Overmind is a class that is also flexible because its buffs and debuffs apply to both physical and magical parties. Additionally, he can freeze and heal, making him suitable for keeping party members alive. He also has a wide skill range. He is generally categorized as a healer, buffer, and even a hybrid class. Alright, here is a recap of what I've explained earlier. Essentially, to keep up with the evolving content in Elsword, we need to adjust our characters' roles accordingly. This ensures that we can assist and collaborate effectively with other players. Next video will be discussed from Luciel to Lithia, so make sure you click like and subscribe button, turn on the notification to stay updated for the second part of this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any content requests, let me know and leave a comment in the comment section below. This is Aschavea signing off. Goodbye.
안녕. 좋은 꿈 꿨어?